G'day legends, it's Mark here from North Oz, back with our first video of 2025, and we are kicking off the year with a detailed guide on how you can transform your full drive storage area from what you guys see here to this much more usable and accessible space. While I'm working on my own Landcruiser Canopy, I have heaps of general tips for all setups throughout this video that will apply to your own situations. I'm also going to be showing you all my tips and tricks I've picked up over the years of building four-wheel drives to create the best touring and overlanding setup I have made yet, with some new gear to show you guys along the way to help with this process. This is going to be a bit of a longer episode, guys, so get yourself comfortable and let's turn my Landcruiser Canopy into my version of an ultimate touring rig. Let's do it. So let's go through a bit of a game plan for today's episode, guys, and we're going to start off with the upright fridge. So we're going to be unboxing this in a second and installing it, and I'm hoping, if I did my maths right, I'm hoping that this will fit by about 2 millimeters. So this was the biggest fridge, and I guess it's the smallest fridge that most upright fridge makers make, is about a 60 litre. So that's pretty much the smallest size that comes in these sorts of King's fridges anyway. I think it's the smallest in their lineup, and it's going to fit in there hopefully by about 3 millimeters. So if I did my maths right, we should be okay. But it is going to be interesting to see what the long-term kind of experience is like of this King's gear. I've never used that before. I've never used this brand on anything other than like canvas bags and stuff. So we'll see what it's like. Not sponsored as well, guys, because I've got the receipt there. I went and bought that one with my own money. It was 400 bucks. So we'll see how that one goes. It does come with a 5-year warranty, and they did register me for the warranty, so I can get that anywhere in Australia. So that's a good thing. The next thing is we've got a fire extinguisher. So you guys commented in our last video. So if you haven't seen our last video where we got the new full drive interiors, drawers and sliders on, if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and watch it. I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video. But I also had someone comment and say that we should be putting a fire extinguisher in here, which I'd completely forgotten about. Now, I obviously do have a fire extinguisher in the vehicle. Unfortunately, it's in the tool drawer, so not the best place to put it. So again, in my last setup, just ran out of room to put things, guys. So, and I didn't really want a fire extinguisher bouncing around all over the place. So we will be putting a 1 kilo fire extinguisher in the Canopy. Probably a little bit on the smaller side, but I am also installing 2 more fire extinguishers in the actual cab of the Landcruiser as well. So I'm going to settle for a slightly smaller one here in, I guess, exchange for 2 smaller fire extinguishers in the actual cabin as well. I'm also going to be replacing my light setup switch, which is just a cigarette socket. I'm just going to replace that one with an Anderson plug as well. On the topic of Anderson plugs, we also have for today's episode some splitters. So we're going to be splitting the Anderson plugs that we have here. We only have 2 coming out of our little control box here. Now I could go and buy a new control box, but I don't really want to spend an extra 140 bucks for 1, maybe 2 extra Anderson plugs. So instead, I bit the bullet and bought 2 $30 Anderson plug splitters. So basically, it just takes 1 Anderson plug and turns it into 2. So that's a bit of an interesting one. Didn't even know they made them. I was going to make one up myself, and then I found out that you could actually buy them. So an Anderson plug, I guess like end there, is normally, that plug alone is normally about 10 bucks-ish, depending where you buy it from. But it's about 10 bucks each. So, you know, in materials cost alone, it would actually cost me 30 bucks to make this. So it's just easier for me to go ahead and buy that one. So I will be, and like I said, guys, I have run out of Anderson plugs. So I've got one for the inverter and one for the fridge, and that's about it. But I'm going to be running 2 fridges in this setup. So I'm going to show you guys what that's going to look like today, because I do have my other Mike Coolman fridge here, and that one is going to go in the Canopy as well, only to be used on the longer trip. So that's kind of the game plan for today. It's a bit of a long-winded version of it, but give you guys a little bit of thinking behind the reasoning why I'm doing some of this stuff. So let's go ahead. I'm going to unbox this upright fridge, and let's see if we can get it in the back of this Canopy now. It's going to be a bit awkward unboxing this one, but we'll give it a go anyway, because it's quite a big unit. Even though it's only, what, 60 litres, they still take up a lot of room, these things. So, like I said, I am a little bit skeptical about upright fridges. I haven't used one before, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, there she is there. Oh, that was actually not. It's actually not as big as the box made it out to be. Ooh, Anderson plug already on there. Very nice. And corrugated tubing as well on there too. pull this and then you do what? Oh, okay, so that's the lock there. In here looks like we have the instruction manual and some mounting plates and some screws as well. We've got the instruction manual here, won't be needing that because I'm a man. No, I'm joking. I actually need to see how this gets installed, so let me have a quick look at this. Well, I actually could have thrown the instructions away because that wasn't very helpful at all. All the instructions said was refrigerator requires good ventilation and place it on dry flat surface. Do not place hot products in fridge. Do not place ice or liquids which are not sealed. So no actual help in installing this, but I reckon we could probably figure it out. Here we go, moment of truth, guys. Oh no. The fridge door sticks up. Damn. Well, someone's measurements were wrong. It's fine there, and then it's just that little... It was looking so good for a second there, guys. You can see how good it looks in here, but unfortunately, we are fouling at the top there by a good couple mil as well. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to sort this one out. So I think I'll just think about this for a minute. Maybe I can wiggle the fridge in there and then maybe drag it forward, but it definitely won't be sliding in and out, that's for sure. So leave it with me and I'll let you know what I come up with. So we're pretty lucky to be able to get the fridge in there because it was just this top plate that kind of holds the reversible hinge on this front door. So all we really had to do was just hang down on that and it was able to just kind of sneak through that lip. So it was about 1 or 2 mil off. So I knew it was going to be close anyway, but I'm pretty lucky that it was able to be pushed in there. So now it can actually come in and out. It is just a little bit dodgy. I probably wouldn't want to do that too often, but just to install it, it's going to be a lot easier if I bring that slide out and then I can put its little mounting plates on there and screw it to the top of the slide. So let's get in there and do that now. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, yes, I do have some four-wheel drive builds behind me, but guys, my knowledge is very, very limited. So if I can do any of this stuff today, I think it's a timely reminder to let you guys know that you definitely can do this if I'm here doing it as well. So it's often just good just to remind you guys that no, I'm not an expert and I'm not going to be doing things that are, how they should be done. But if it works for me, then it's good enough for me. So let's get back to installing this upright fridge. One thing that you do have to watch out for is that these screws going into the fridge, they do cross thread very easily. So just double check to make sure that doesn't cross thread, but just do everything hand tight. But yeah, I've nearly cross threaded it like twice now, and I think it's because these mounts just make the fridge sit up a little bit higher, so it's not quite flush, which is okay, but it just puts pressure on the bolts and then you can easily cross thread them. So we've had some success of putting the upright fridge in the canopy, guys. So it was a bit of a wrestling match, and just keep in mind that that top lip here, it's a few mils. So you might want to include that in your own measurements, because I didn't in mine. It's a little bit of a rude shock that I got there. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your measurements. Add an extra few mil to that top measurement when you're looking at specifications for this fridge. So luckily that is a metal little lip there, and it does serve a couple of purposes, because I was looking at removing it, but unfortunately it serves a couple of purposes. One, it clips, kind of creates like a little bit of a lip for this clip here, which is kind of like safety lock. So it allows the fridge then to open, and it also keeps it shut when that lock is in that kind of shut position, and also it allows for the door to hinge as well. So unfortunately you can't remove it. I mean, if I was to, you know, redesign this, I would probably just make that top lip flush with the very top of this fridge, because then the rest of it is actually like a good 3 or 4 mils lower than that lip. So it would make a little bit of sense if you're going to redesign that to just kind of make it all the top flat and flush. So it would make it a little bit easier just for measurements, and also you could make a nice little box around this as well if it's all, you know, kind of flat. So first look at it, guys, and it looks pretty good. I mean, I can't really complain. I remember to use a little safety lock on there too. Looks good. Accessibility is a lot better than what it was in my chest fridge when that was bolted down to the floor of the canopy. So for the, you know, about half of the price of a drop down slide, I was able to get myself an additional fridge, because I do need some more fridge storage in my 2025 trips. And I will be traveling with other people as well, and I'll be carrying their food as well. So it does just allow for a little bit more flexibility with the long-term camping setup, because that's what I'm planning for 2025. So we've got the 60-litre upright fridge in there now, and before this video is over, I will be putting my Coolman fridge freezer. I will be putting that in the canopy as well. So we're going to move on now to the next job, and the reason why we're doing it now and kind of towards the start of this video, because it is the most important job. So we will be installing a fire extinguisher as well. Got this one from Bunnings, so we'll be chucking that on its bracket. We're going to see if we can make that bracket work first, and then we'll and hopefully we'll be able to put that in an accessible spot. So to do that, I might have to get the fridge up here to see if I can, you know, have a little bit of room to work with, and see how much room I have to work with between the fridge and any gaps in storage spots that I have for the fire extinguisher. So we'll kind of play around a little bit here. We'll see how much room we can create and make sure that this fire extinguisher is accessible, because that's what it is all about at the end of the day. Not much point having this thing if it's not accessible. So let's move a few things around and we'll see if we can make this thing easy to get to. All right, I think I've got everything where I want it to be for now anyway, so I can move a few things around if I need to. So I've got the my Coolman fridge, so that's the big boy. That's up there at the moment in the on the slider, so I can get to it if I need to, like for overflow stuff. Anything that doesn't fit in that fridge goes into the chest fridge. So plan is now, I've kind of got that where I want it to be and where I'm going to tie it down, and I'm going to put that fire extinguisher on. Pretty happy with the mount. It's looking pretty good. I've got these channel strut, just little plates that I've had from a previous project. So they will just kind of sit on that channel, that strut channel on the inside of my canopy. So otherwise these fire extinguisher brackets are too narrow, and it's going to go straight through the strut channel. So I do have these little bits of plate just ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead, get this fire extinguisher on, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alrighty guys, super quick update. We have got the fire extinguisher in place now. It's pretty much as low as it's going to get before it fouls on the drawers. So I've got the chunky part of the handle facing that way, so the label isn't facing out towards us. But I'm pretty happy with how it is. It's a little bit still close to the door opening, but don't really have a choice, guys. If we want to try to keep it out of a drawer, that's going to be our only spot. And I'm pretty happy with that. And like I said, I will still have 2 fire extinguishers in the cabin anyway, and I'll be showing you guys in an upcoming episode exactly how that's going to all fit up, because I got a bit of a custom job and I'm pretty excited to share that with you guys. Actually, I've been working on that one for a little while, so I'm pretty keen to show you that. So make sure hit that notification bell just in case you miss that one, because you don't want to miss it. So that's there, little scenario. There's a fire around. Flick this here, okay, get that little doodad off, grab this, and away we go. Just got to be careful that I don't have that fridge too close to the fire extinguisher. That's the only thing. But even as it is right there, like, that is enough room. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I find a better spot in the future, I will definitely move it. But for now, that's kind of going to be where it goes. Might even shuffle that fridge a little bit further across just to give me a bit more room. But apart from that, guys, it's starting to get late, so I got to try to manage my jobs here. So I don't want to finish, you know, I don't want to start a job and then be halfway through it. That's always the worst thing. So I know I'm not going to get this fridge tied down tonight. I do have some of those just basic D-ring sort of tie downs. Not interested in installing them on here. I will be putting another one of those aircraft rail sort of systems, aluminium rails. So I will be putting them on here. I got to go and get them. I also have to go and get, and this will be tomorrow, so we're not doing this tonight. And I'll also have to get an inline fuse, because these lights are currently running off an accessory socket. And if you guys didn't know that those kind of cigarette socket accessory sockets actually have a built-in fuse in them. So I have to actually replace a fuse in this Anderson plug, and then we're gonna have all the lights running off Anderson. So last job we're gonna do tonight is we will end up doing a quick install of our Anderson plug splitters. So I'll put them in there. And apart from that, it's gonna be a little bit of stuff around, but I'll show you guys the end result of that. And then tomorrow we'll have kind of like a little bit more of a more finished product. So, and I'll give it a quick vacuum, make it all nice for our little cinematic at the end. So let's get these installed and then we'll call it a night. So I've just finished the last job for the night. So let me show you how it turned out with those split Anderson plugs. I think it's turned out pretty good, and it's definitely given me a lot more flexibility with my 12 volt setup. So let me show you now. All right, so here we are, guys. You can see exactly what we installed. So we've got just the 2 Anderson plugs that we had before are now split into 4. So this one here is going to be our 12 volt lights, and that one there is my inverter. So you can see it's connected up to my very, very small inverter there, just enough to run battery on a computer. And then in the back there, that's going to be our 2 fridges. So top one is going to be to the stand-up fridge, because that one has got the power cable coming out of the top section here, and so that's going to be the shortest distance possible across there, and it's not a very long cable, so you got to, you know, be a little bit mindful of that. And then I'm also going to have the chest fridge, which is going to connect up to that one that's just pointing out to the other side of the canopy. So that's going to wrap up all of our work here tonight. I'm pretty happy with how everything has come out so far. It's looking like a very, very tidy setup. Still not too sure about having the chest fridge there. I'm going to have a little bit of a think about what I could do to possibly, you know, make that a little bit more accessible. But at the moment, with a stool, I can get in there pretty easily to be able to move stuff from that fridge to the stand-up fridge that we just installed. So I am going to, tomorrow morning, go and grab a fuse for the lights so we can get all them wired up, and then we'll also get some tie-down tracks as well, and then we'll be all done. All right, that's it for tonight, guys. I'll see you in the morning. All right, legends, so we are back for another day of working on the canopy, and we've got the tie downs. We have got, again, some things to tie down the old fridge with, and also a inline fuse for the new Anderson socket. So, guys, let's get all that in there now. We'll see how it all tidies up. Just got to do some of that wiring and some bits and pieces, bolt down the new tie downs, and yeah, we should be good to go. So I'm looking forward to getting it all organized in the back there too. So I just finished the wiring for the 12 volt lights, and unfortunately I ran out of black electrical tape, so I put a little bit of corrugated tubing on here. And again, of course, I don't have the right thickness, just how it goes, these DIY projects, isn't it? So it doesn't look too bad, so I'm gonna probably drape it over the top of the of my little electrical board there. I'm just going to drape it over the top like that, and hopefully that's all that you'll see. So try to position it in a way that makes it look good. But yeah, apart from that, let's get this wired in now, and I'm sure that 12 volt lights, the lights in there are going to look a lot better now without having that big accessory socket sticking out of the control box. So this is what it looked like before with that socket, and unfortunately it was just not in there very solid, and every time I leant to go get something or go down a corrugated track, something like that, you know, just would always wiggle free. So we've gotten rid of that now, and we'll be using this one, and we'll be able to put it over on this side over here. Right one. And in my standard fashion, I forgot to put the fuse in. So obviously it's not going to work, is it? Oh, you're joking. There's no way I did that. Oh no. We're gonna be here a while, boys. Alright, let's try that again, shall we? Looks tidy at least, even if it doesn't work. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's plug the splitter in. Try this again. Oh, this is looking much better. We have a light, and it's on. Alright. Ta-da! We did it. Even if it may not have looked like it, that whole project, just by swapping out that one Anderson plug, has taken me a good hour, hour and a half. I want to make sure I get all the solder right and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's always little things like, you know, dropping the fuses and stuff like that, that always, and forgetting the fuses as well, that always, you know, puts you back a little bit. But that is a much cleaner setup, and I do like the way that a lot of it is hidden as well by the upright fridge. So that's a good win for me for this morning. So now in the afternoon, what we'll do is we'll end up putting a tie down track here. I also went and got some different sort of tie downs, and I'm trying to move away from like reflective stuff and that just for this build. So I'm going to try and put these black rubber tie downs, see if they work. It was the closest size that they had to be able to fit our needs here. So we'll put the tie down tracks on, we'll stick these on, and then yeah, and then we'll do a little bit of a walk around and show you kind of where we're at, and we'll be putting a lot of my camping stuff back in the drawers finally, so I can free up some bench space and some shelf space. So let's get those tracks on this afternoon, and then we'll strap down the fridge as well. So let's do that now. So in typical fashion, I thought that the tie downs would be really easy to install, and I ended up using a screw similar to this one here, which is just kind of like a small, not sure if that's going to focus or not, but it's a small button head kind of a screw, and I use that to tie down the tracks, the tie down tracks. So I wanted to use the tracks a little bit more flexible. I wanted to use those over the tie down D-ring loops that come with the full drive interiors drawers that you can buy as well, and you know, you can obviously use them to deck out your sliders and to be able to tie things down. Now, I thought I was being smart by using my own hardware. Unfortunately, I wasn't really happy with how, you know, I guess strong that those small screws were holding that tie down track in place. So I thought about it overnight. That's what I spent yesterday doing. Overnight I thought about it. This morning I went and decided to tackle the replacing them and putting a bolt through, which worked okay for the front, but what I didn't realize is that there's a great big support structure in these drawers, and unfortunately when I went to go shut the drawer, unfortunately those bolts were fouling. So on the front's fine, but it was the back track that just wasn't being able to shut. So instead, I actually ended up using the hardware from the tie down hardware from Full Drive Interiors. I was able to use their mounts, because this is actually like a double mount like this, and I was able to just cut them in half, and it actually gives us basically a nice little plate that I was able to then kind of modify a little bit, and that then sits inside a 10 mil. I had to drill 10 mil hole in, well, 3 of them actually, for the track in the back, and then that basically sits up underneath the slide. And I was able to then screw, just using again the hardware from, these are kind of like the leftover bits and pieces from the tie down D-ring, and I was able to use the hardware from that, the bolts from that, and able to get that back one on. So all of that took me a really long time. So, I mean, you know, by the time you try one method and then you go and try another one, and then you finally settle on this one, that ended up being a good few hours of just getting those tracks down. So that's kind of where we're at this point. The fridge is now tied down. Both the fridges are tied down. We're ready now to plug in both of the fridges to see if I can power everything all at the same time, make sure there's no issues. I'll run the inverter, I'll run both of the fridges, we'll see how it looks. I'll power my fan as well. I'm charging that over there. So we'll run a few things at the one time, just make sure there's it doesn't blow any fuses, and you know, everything is running like optimally. Then we will go ahead and start putting all of my camping gear that I have that I need to access, you know, in these drawers. So I need to start putting them out in some sort of logical order. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of what took me such a long time. I was just kind of little bits and pieces with, yeah, just fiddling around, guys. That's what it's all about. I actually really like this sort of stuff. You find a problem and you kind of come up with a solution, which is something that I really enjoy about this hobby. I've said that in early videos, that what I really like is actually coming across problems and then spending a bit of time trying to find the best solution. That also, like, I also really want to take my time. Like, I'm sure this comes across in the video because of how long, you know, these videos take as well. So I appreciate you guys watching them, but it's good to kind of come across these problems and really take my time and do it well this time around. Like, I could have left those little tiny screws in these tie down tracks and it probably would have been fine. The only time I probably would have had an issue with it is if, say, I'm on Fraser Island and then I don't have, you know, I'll be bringing all my tools with me, but I mean, the last thing I want to be doing is on a track, you know, drilling holes and trying to fix up things, and, you know, I won't have my angle grinder with me, like things like that, you know. So, you know, the last thing you want to be doing when you're, you know, going off-road is to be doing that sort of stuff. So I'd rather take my time now over these next few months, when, you know, before I do my big trip, is to yeah, make sure I'm doing everything right and do it right the first time. That's something that I'm doing in this kind of iteration. It's going to pretty much be one of the final iterations for now anyway, for 2025, or start of 2025 at least, is just making sure it's all done and done well this first time. Because when I first got the Canopy, I just started chucking things in there. Put a drawer in there wasn't enough, put a second drawer in there wasn't enough. I made a little cubby that goes in up the top because I didn't have enough storage, and things were still rattling around. So I'm trying to make sure I do everything right the first time, and that's kind of what we are seeing here. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm lucky that I am on holidays at the moment, so I'm able to take my time. For example, giving, you know, 2 days to a tie down track. But yeah, and I also, on the topic of tie down tracks, I do also need to try and figure out some sort of system to be able to still tie down things on the other side, because I still have quite a bit of room behind this fridge especially, and also there's a little like 150 mil of fixed board, like a fixed carpet at the back of these slides. So I might try and figure out some sort of like long ways tie down, just in case I have things, you know, floating around. So that's something I'm going to be working on as well. So I'll give you guys a little bit of an update after I've plugged everything in, and yeah, we'll kind of organize a few things. So I'll give you guys a little bit of an update in a minute. So I've just plugged in the fridges and everything looks okay, but if you guys have any suggestions on how I should run the cable going to my fridge on the left side, please let me know down in the comment section, because I don't really have too many ideas apart from just running it across the top there. So I don't know. If you have any suggestions, please let me know down in the comment section. I will greatly appreciate that. But for now, it'll do the job at least, and it'll move back and forwards at least without too many dramas. But yeah, if you guys could let me know what you're doing on your setups, and if you have any ideas, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. So I was thinking of doing something along the lines of maybe that, So it gives us a little bit of room here to tie something down, and then maybe something like that, and then like that, and then maybe getting another 2 for that side as well, so we can tie things down going this way to this way on this fixed kind of shelf, and then here and here, which I mean, I don't know what I'll tie down there, but not too sure about that, and then the back there, which is a little bit more room, but this isn't going to be sliding out much anyway, so I guess the point will be just to try to stop things from, you know, like moving around too much, you know, on longer trips. So I think things aren't getting damaged, whether it's a thing I'm tying down or my fridge, and running into all my 12-volt stuff as well. So anyway, it's all food for thought. I like your opinion anyway, even though I'm going to go with this to maybe to start off with. Not too sure. I do also have the kind of the D-ring style ones here as well. So I still have these that I could use as well. So that is also an option. So I could use these here instead. But I don't know. I mean, these do give a lot more flexibility, and I can just take them out and move them as I please. But yeah, anyway, it's all food for thought, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. So last night I ended up finishing the organisation on the top at least. So let me show you what that looks like now. So I added these extra tracks here, here, and there as well on our long part behind the stand-up fridge. So I still don't have one here at this point. I may add just another small one here just for little bits and pieces, like things like water and stuff I could put behind here and still be on the slide, so I can get to them if I need to on the other side as well. But I'm pretty happy with how this has kind of turned out here. Definitely looks like, you know, we can at least just chuck a few things down, like the camping chairs and things like that, you know, bedding and things like that. We can just easily just loop under these little straps there. So I'm pretty happy with how that has come out at this point. So now we are going to go over to my organization kind of section now, and we have ended up taking all my little project stuff that I've been working on. I ended up taking all that down, putting it all away, and just kind of focusing on really doing this well, and just making sure that I give this a really good crack and giving it my full attention. So this is pretty much all the stuff that I need to fit in the canopy. I want to try and give everything a pretty good spot where I think it's going to kind of stay. So yeah, that's pretty much the only spiel I'm going to give you guys about how I'm going to organize everything. And then it's just literally going to be me spending a lot of time in these drawers trying to get them set up to how I want them to be. And these drawers are huge, guys. So these are drawers from Full Drive Interiors. If you haven't seen them before, look at the size of that. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I want to put stuff in here that will, I guess, like in the first half, that I'll get to a lot. So that's the idea, is I'll only kind of have it out to here most of the time, and then I'll put the less commonly used stuff all the way at the back. To me, that kind of makes sense. And then I've also got these dividers here as well, which Full Drive Interiors sell with their drawers too. So I will just leave them in there just kind of roughly like that, but they are, you know, they do come with screws in there as well. So you are able to actually screw them in there if you want to just kind of give it a little bit more stability. So to start off with, I'm not going to use the screw pack just yet. I will just end up just leaving them in there like that, just to get a little bit of an idea as to how it's all going to go together. So leave this with me for now. I'm going to stuff around with this probably for a couple of days actually, and I'll check back in with you guys. Well, for you guys it'll only be a few seconds, but for me it's probably going to be a day or two. And before we do that though, look at the weather outside. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy. Just can't stop raining here in Cairns. I do as well, guys, have an upcoming video of all of my Full Drives and all of the Full Drives that we have here in the family, so make sure you guys stick around for that one. I'm looking forward to sharing with you all the Full Drives we have in our in our North Oz garage, and also I'm going to do a couple of different videos in the future, guys. We're going to be doing some videos about how I'm able to afford my Full Drives and different things like that. So make sure you guys have subscribed, make sure you stick around. Those of you who've been here on the channel for a while, I'll kind of know roughly what Full Drives I have anyway, but it's just going to be good to take stock. And also, I haven't really revealed kind of how I'm able to afford you know, the things that I have, which I'm very lucky to be able to you know, have the cars that I have. So I'll be doing a full video on that in the very near future. So make sure you subscribe to that one. If you guys want to see that video, make sure you let me know down in the comment section, because that way I kind of get a bit of an idea as to whether or not you guys want to see that. All right, let's move on. Let's get this organization done, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys how it all turned out. Let's do it. So what was just a fraction of time for you guys ended up being about a week for me, just getting everything out, laying it on the table, having a look and seeing what I want to put and where, and how do I want things to sit, which is a very important decision to make as to where I want to put things, where do they need to be accessible, and also where do they need to be to make sense. So I'm just going to show you just very quickly kind of the general layout, and then I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to show you guys in the drawers themselves and show you kind of what I did, because I think you guys might get some ideas from it as well. And I've got some footage as well to overlay of some of the custom work that I did inside of the drawers as well. So this is kind of the layout. So the layout under the fridge is going to be, so the drawer here is just going to be things like toiletries. Again, I'll show you guys in more detail, but we've got things like, sunscreen. I've got all my camera gear. I've got a lot of things like towels, mosquito repellents, lights, things like that. So things that are just kind of more camping specific things. So that's the general, gist of underneath the fridge. Now over here we have got the kitchen side. So this is all going to be kitchen related things. So we've got things like the gas burner, we've got a bucket there, we've got all my spreads and things like that, cutlery, plates, paper plates, everything that you could think of, spare water, all that sort of stuff. The reason why I did it like this, and why you guys might want to as well for your own setups, was because if I'm standing over here at the fridge and I'm getting things out of the fridge here, I don't want to have to keep shutting and opening this drawer all the time if I need to get something while I'm cooking. So the idea is that if I'm getting things out of here, the idea is that it's only going to be this first part of the drawer if I'm cooking, or while I'm cooking. So that kind of gives you guys the idea of kind of why I did that, because I can have this drawer all the way out here like this, and I can be doing my cooking and whatever, which I do plan to make a little bit of a custom kind of cooking setup over here in preparation area. And then if I need to get something out of these drawers, which would be very unlikely, I only need to open up to the first part, which is where most of my things are. On the left side, I've got little knickknacks and that. And then I can obviously get into the fridge, which is the most important thing. All right, so that is the idea, is that I've got all, my cooking stuff over here, and I've got the fridge here, and I'll have my preparation space kind of here without needing to even open up this drawer at all, because it's all just camping and camera stuff, which I'll be able to get out before I start cooking or after I'm cooking. So it's not really important, while I'm preparing any meals or anything like that. So that is the setup at the moment. So let me show you, now that you have the brief, the brief of overview of what we have done here with the drawers, let me turn the camera around and let me show you what is exactly in these drawers. All right, so here we go. We are looking at the drawer underneath the fridge, and here we are. Oh my goodness, this is looking very organized, and there are some spaces which I'll talk about why I have some gaps there, but let me just talk you through very quickly. I'm not going to go through what's in everything, like in all the boxes and my little pouches and stuff, but I'll give you the kind of brief rundown of what we've got. So on this little compartment we made here, so this was all pretty much made with the stuff that Full Drive Interiors provided. So these dividers, and then the right side is the dividers that I made. I still ended up, so we'll talk about this sort of stuff first, and then we'll get into kind of what we have in each of the sections. So I got these dividers from Full Drive Interiors, and then I made up just some custom brackets just to fit these dividers going this way. Now, you can do a couple of different setups for these dividers. One is that you can drill through the side, which is what I've done, especially with these kind of cross dividers. You can drill in through the side, and that's all good. It will hold it. What I found difficult was how to try to get these dividers to stay where they are. Now, I didn't want to drill from one side divider to the other, because I've got lots of, I guess, kind of things that can be damaged, and also I just didn't feel like it was really holding up very well when I tried it. So I made just some little brackets here, just out of some very thin plate aluminium. Bent them up myself, drilled some holes, and then used them to kind of keep everything in place. So I can also benefit of this is I can move them around a little bit if I need to, and the kind of brackets will just hold them in place a little bit from moving side to side. So that was the kind of gist of it for I guess the brackets and stuff. Then we'll talk about the more custom stuff on the right side. So over here we've got my camera gear, we've got my drone, we've got I keep my fan here. I'm using it at the moment because it's very hot. I got my hammer as well. So that's just basically for my fan and my hammer on the right. On the left here is again all things like sunscreen and things like that. Over here we've got in the middle, we've got all the toiletry. So these are things that I guess you're going to be using kind of sometimes. So high frequency use stuff, middle frequency use stuff, and then low frequency use stuff. So over here we've got all the tissues, toilet paper, stuff like that. There will be more towels as well, because I will be needing to bring at least 2 or 3 towels with me on my extended trips. And I've got my insect repeller, so that's the actual like device, and I've got just a standard repellent in there, but just in case that's not doing the job, I've got one of them. And I've also got my light that I take in with me to the rooftop tent, because it's also got an insect zapper in there as well, bug zapper. So all the way in the back there, we've got the low frequency use stuff. So it's still not completely out of the way. I can still get to the first aid kit. I will be bringing one of them up here though. I just haven't got it just yet. And then I've got my fishing stuff and some awnings and things like that in the back there. A little camp shower as well in there as well. So that is the first drawer. It kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what we're looking at. The idea is that I don't have to open up this drawer all the way to be able to get just basic things like my camera gear, which is what I use day to day. And then when I go camping, obviously I'm using the camping stuff. So the idea is to try to keep everything that I use day to day in this first part of the drawer, so I'm not having to open up the drawer all the way out to be able to get the basic things that I use a lot. Now moving on to the second drawer underneath the overflow fridge, and this isn't I guess a very good representation of how things are going to stay, but I'm happy with it for now, and I probably will still go camping with it kind of the way it is right now. So at the very beginning, at the very start of the drawer, again, high frequency stuff, we are talking about our gas cooker. So my plan is to put this on some sort of mount that I'm going to make up on the side of the drawer here, and then we have got things like the cutlery and cutting boards and things like that, all in this first part here. These gas butane bottle things, they're not going to be staying there for very long. I'll be finding either a different spot for them, or I'm going to be replacing my just single burner gas stove system. We'll see how it goes. Still an area of development for my extended trips, especially because I'm going to be absolutely going through these. So I want to see if I can get together some decent sort of a stove setup and see how that looks. So over here we've got a really skinny section on the drawers. So in the drawer here, so I had to make these because I didn't have enough dividers. So I kind of ran out pretty quick after the first drawer. So these ones here, I just made these out of some plywood that I had lying around. I painted them black as well. And yeah, then I just used just some black hardware, so it just looks a little bit sleek. And then again, I kind of created big space here, a skinny space here, just so that things like seasonings and that don't rattle around too much. And then we've got some, a couple of like squarish sort of sections, which is really, really good. I really recommend doing something like this where your plates kind of sit up on an angle, because then you can kind of get things out, and it's like, and you can see what plates you have, and you can kind of pull them out as you need them. So I've always wanted to have my plates up on an angle like that. So I'm really happy with that. And I've got kind of like the tea section here, and also some tea towels and paper towels. Got some spare water, and then this is like this back section here is purely just the awkward shaped things section. So everything from this part and beyond is purely going to be awkward sized things. So we're going to be talking about pantry as well. So when I'm doing my long trips, I'm going to document the whole thing and how I set out my drawers, but all in the back here is going to be things like cereal boxes, really awkward things, UHT milk, things that you don't really need a compartment for, like this stuff where this is all staying pretty much, or I do need to have these types of this type of equipment in here and then this back section is going to be just completely just whatever I need for a trip is going to be in the back there. So if we're talking about, you know, like I said, like milks and spare water and things like that, that's all going to be in the back here, you know. So if I'm carrying food for other people as well, that's all going to be there too. So kind of got, this is the whole kitchen drawer, so you can kind of see how we have it all set out. I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out, and there is a little bit of, I guess, thinking to do still around the gas burner and stuff, but I just wanted to get everything kind of in a spot and in a place, and I'm actually really happy with how it all turned out. I think I sized everything up pretty nicely without wasting any space as well, which is really important. And there's still plenty of room in the back here. And again, guys, you're going to see some spaces here and there just because, you know, as I get ready for my big trip to Fraser Island, etc., and, you know, going down south, I'm going to have to carry a lot of stuff. I don't want to be having to pop into the shops all the time. So the idea is to do a really, really big stock up and then carry it with me throughout the trip. So that's the, I guess, the pantry slash kitchen setup slash drawer slash gas cooker slash everything. So that's the kitchen drawer all there, and I'm really happy with how that's turned out. So I just want to show you what is in the driver's side as well, because I did end up doing quite a bit of stuff to this section, as I probably have explained at this point. It's been a week. I honestly can't remember what I've filmed and what I haven't. But in the back here, we've got some, just, you know, they're not really like tied down really hard. They're just, you know, kind of surface level sort of screws. So it's really just for just keeping things where they are. They're not really designed to hold down fridges, not like my other tie downs are. So these are just here just to strap down some basic stuff. So I've just got at the moment just some bulky things like my table and like my chair in the back there. So I do plan on putting, as obviously as we do more travel and, you know, we travel, you know, for more extended periods of time, I do intend on putting more in this kind of tie down area. But for now, I'm happy with this. If I'm taking more people with me as well, we've got the room to be able to stack some stuff on this section, on this side of the canopy. So if anyone's bringing anything on trips with me, they can put it on this side, and it kind of makes it easy for them as well, and also makes it easy for me because it means I don't have to move around all my stuff. And people just know that, you know, this side, you know, they can have this side, heaps of room here for them, and yeah, and it just means that makes it really easy for my family and my friends, that they just know that there is going to be a spare spot there. We also, when we're talking about storage as well, haven't talked about the fact that I have the entire interior free. No seats or anything have been removed or anything like that. So the entire interior is free as well. So if we have clothes bags or anything that we want to put in the cab, we can. There's heaps of room in there as well. Again, kind of on the topic of storage, we do have the under tray boxes as well, which they're pretty stacked. There's not really much room in there, but just so you guys know, there is some stuff in there. And we also have the under tray box as well, which is pretty much entirely free of room. So we've got a lot of space in there. So I might be putting, obviously I'll put my tools in there. That's where they kind of live. But I've also got my solar blanket as well, which will probably live there just because I just don't want it in the way when I'm camping. So I just don't use it very much because I'm travel, you know, obviously distances, and then my lithium battery kind of holds up for my weekend camping trips and week-long camping trips. So don't really need to get that solar blanket out very much. But with that being said, we've gone through the other side. Let's wrap up today's video. So we do have a lot of new things in this canopy and in this, I guess, version of the build. We keep putting things in there, taking them out, and we just kind of see what sticks. But we'll see how this upright fridge goes over the next few months, leading up to my Fraser Island trip, and, you know, further down south as well. We've got about 6 weeks of traveling ahead of us coming up around Easter, so I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. But this is something that's going to interest me, how this King's upright fridge goes. I've never had any of their stuff, like I've mentioned. I did run this fridge for about 4 days, just to see how it went. Used up a little bit of battery, nothing that was too exciting. There was nothing in there, first of all, so it got up to temperature pretty quickly, so pretty happy about that. Probably the only thing so far is that it kind of drips a lot, especially from where the compressor sits, which is kind of up the top and at the back. So when you turn it off, it gets a lot of condensation underneath there. So you kind of need to pull out some of the drawers and stuff like that, like the shelf unit things, got to get them out and wipe underneath it just a couple of times as that kind of compressor area, I don't know what it is, as that kind of comes back down to kind of room temperature or canopy ambient temperature. So we'll see how that goes as time goes on, but so far I'm pretty impressed actually with the build quality of it. It looks good. I like the fact that it's metal on the outside, so we can stick some things on it like my magnetic lights and things like that. But it was easy to install. There really wasn't much to it, and it's got like a really decent warranty. So we'll see how this thing goes over time, but initial impressions are really good, and it's great to have something being so high up is still really accessible, which is exactly what I wanted. So we'll be wrapping up today's video there, guys, but it's, for me, one of these, I guess, projects that is really hard, one, to film, but also two, it is a really important part of touring, traveling, overlanding, whatever you want to call it, because if you don't have things where you need them to be, and if they don't have a spot, it is really frustrating. So I've pretty much spent the last, I guess, like 2 to 3 years where I've really been doing this seriously, and filming it as well with you guys and doing these trips kind of regularly. You know, I've never had a setup like this before, and it's always something that I really wanted. I remember, you know, when I went up to the Cape last year with my friend Alex, and when we were there were guys that had setups like this, but I didn't even know what this was. I didn't even know who to go to for a canopy. I didn't even know how to install, you know, fridges, or how lithium 12-volt setups even work. All I knew was that you just take it to someone and they do it. So I didn't really understand how it all worked, and that was something that I really wanted to do. And when I look back, that was only about like 18 months ago. So it's always good to just, you know, it's the end of 2024 for me. It's the start of 2025 when I release this video. But it's always good to just take a step back, this time of year especially, take a step back and reflect and see just kind of how far, you know, we've come in a short amount of time, especially like here on the channel, but I'm sure you guys could do that in your own personal lives as well, where you just kind of take a step back and have a look and see, you know, how far you've come with all the many and various accomplishments that you've had. So for me, this is kind of one of them where I wouldn't have even had a clue where to start off. I've asked the right questions to the right people. I've had a lot of people help me out over the years, whether it's been companies that I've, you know, asked how to do certain things and helping me out with their products, or it's been, you know, you guys watching and commenting and helping me out along the way. So I just wanted to, again, like, it's the start of 2025, but I just again want to say, I've mentioned it before in the past, but I just want to say huge thank you to you guys who, if you've made it this far in the video where I've been talking about drawers and storage, I do appreciate you following along with what I've been doing on here. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. And me uploading my videos is my hobby, and I really do enjoy it. It's something that I look forward to every week, being able to film, edit, and obviously work with my hands as well. It's just a really good time for me, and seeing, you know, that, you know, when you guys seeing those comments and seeing what you guys have to say about it every week just makes my week. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, especially if you watch all the way to the end as well. So for me, when I saw guys, you know, going around camping where I'd never really seen people have like setups like this, and I saw it for the first time up at Cape York. I took heaps and heaps of photos of people's setups to kind of see how they did it, and then now I've done my own version of that, and I'm really happy with how this has come out. I've only seen probably a handful of people with setups like this, and I get to drive around with this day to day. So for me, that's just crazy. That's just wild. So, you know, this is again kind of a stepping stone for me, taking on bigger trips, wanting to go out more remote for longer, showing you guys as well kind of what these remote places look like, how to prepare yourself for these remote situations, and so that you can get off grid for longer and just enjoy the great outdoors. So for me, this is like a dream come true. Landcruiser, my dream car, and this setup is, and I love storage as well. Like, I love things to be organized and done a certain way, and knowing how it was done as well, so I can diagnose problems and when things go wrong, or swap out things that aren't working. So to be able to pick up all this in a short amount of time for me is an accomplishment. It's always good that, you know, we can reflect on our accomplishments. And this for me, although it might not look like much for me, this is what I get excited about. So this for me is just yeah, it blows my mind that we're able to do this here on the channel and share it with you guys. And I'm so stoked with how these drawers have come out. So I hope that my enthusiasm has come out to the other side of the camera, to your computer screen, because I absolutely love this sort of stuff, and I can't wait to show you guys what else we have in stock for 2025, because I've got a lot of projects in mind. We've got a lot of trips coming up, like I've kind of mentioned throughout this video. So 2025 is going to be a really good year, guys, and I'm really looking forward to taking you along with me as me, and I'll take you guys along with me, but also be bringing some of my mates along as well, so you'll get to know them a little bit more as well as time goes on. So guys, with all that said and done, we're done here for the day. It was a long week, or 10 days for me, getting everything organized. This project was probably one of the longer projects that I've taken on, surprisingly, even though it was just organizing myself. Honestly, it was just one of those things where I was kind of dreading it a little bit, and some days I didn't really have the motivation to work on it. It's like 35 degrees right now. It's like 4:30 or something in the afternoon, so there's a lot of hot days, and trying to work out what the best solutions are in the heat's not always the best thing. Made plenty of mistakes, just cutting things the wrong way, or cutting things a bit too short, and whatever it is, it happens as time goes on. But guys, this has turned out exactly how I wanted it to, and I'm stoked. And sort of stuff takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, but I hope that you guys picked up a few of the things that we did in today's video. I hope you picked some of that up and are going to use them for your own builds, maybe for some inspiration. But I love being organized, and I love the fact that everything has a spot now, and I can't wait to just add some more little bits and pieces over the next couple months, and hopefully you get some ideas out of that as well, because we're going to be coming up with some pretty unique stuff. So guys, start of 2025, it's going to be a good year. Let's get stuck into it. I can't wait. I'll see you guys very shortly in the next video. Until then, see you down in the comment section. Take care.